Okay, continuing on in chapter 4, and we'll finish this up and start chapter 5 next week. I'm trying to do a chapter a week, so there are not so long playlists, not as long as playlists as I have had in the past. So hopefully we can get through them quicker, because I want to start James Trouble. I don't believe I've read that one or not. I can't remember if I have or not. On here, I mean. I've read it a couple times already, but I don't remember if I read it on here or not. I don't think I've seen it on my playlist, but anyway, I'm babbling. Okay, moving on. God's knowledge of you memorialized in a name. As we abide in this place of intimate fellowship with God, we are filled with His Spirit and become a fragrance of Christ to God. 2 Corinthians 2:15. This fragrance affects not only God, but also those around us. Jesus said, if we come to Him and drink, then rivers of living water flow out from our innermost being. John 7:38. Touching others with the reality of Christ that we are enjoying. Amen. Excuse me. Revelation 3:5. He that overcomes, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. If you're a believer in this situation, you can either walk with him in white today or be clothed in white raiment in the age to come. Your name will not be blotted out of the book of life. Some people may think that he could blot your name out of the book of life, but just because he says he won't do something doesn't mean there's a chance he will. He's saying, I will not blot out your name out of the book of life. This living hope and promise is the antidote for spiritual death and inward condemnation. Even if you feel condemned because your works are not perfect before Him and you've defiled your garments as a believer, you will overcome by believing that Jesus is the Son of God. Amen. The same person who wrote this letter defined it for us in 1 John. He that overcomes is the one who believes, and he that overcomes is the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God. 1 John 5:5. Amen. Your name is how God knows you, and everyone is named by God according to Ephesians, the Father of every family in heaven and on earth. Ephesians 3:14 and 15. In Old Testament history, names of believers were prophecies of the generations they lived in, and they were all prophetic. In Jewish history, every single one of the believers' names held profound significance. Their name represented their life, the seasons they lived in, and the work they accomplished. When he says there are names that have not defiled their garments, he's saying, I know them. These names are in contrast to the names they are trying to live. This name is a hidden name that God sees. Remember what Jesus said to Pergamos, Revelation 2:17. To him that overcomes will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, in the stone a new name written, which no man knows, saving he that receives it. When he declares to Sardis, I confess his name, he's saying, I know you. Those who truly reject Christ and are dead will never be known again. They are forgotten. But he knows those who live before God by name. He knows those who are his. This is a promise from God. This chapter, after covering Thyatira, is quite edifying. Yet we are continuing to focus the development of the great tree from the Matthew 13 parables. The great tree accumulates the negative elements in these churches as it progresses, including those of Jezebel, the Nicolaitans, the mixture of wheat and tares, and Balaam. Now we have the added branches of the tree that are filled with many who appear spiritually alive but are actually living according to the flesh and are dead. However, they are zealous, which furthers the spread. These churches are Galatianized and produce many Balaamites and Nicolaitans susceptible to Jezebel's influence. These mainly represent genuine believers who need to come back to their source, that which they heard from the beginning, the gospel, and hold it fast, because even that is dying out. Their testimony falls short because they fail to fully embrace Christ, the Prince of Joy. This situation presents another negative element from which we should distance ourselves. Amen.